It's finally here. It feels like this fight has been being talked about and anticipated for such a long time. How does it feel to finally be on the cusp of fighting Lauren Price?
Yeah, it's good to be finally reach that destination. This week generally is quite long. You know, you're training less and doing more media and stuff, and yeah, it drags on a little bit. I'd rather just be in the ring. I'd rather just be Friday.
And it was said at the press conference, you are viewing this very much as just another fight week. Is that how you are approaching this?
Yeah, that's how I approach all fights, because ultimately that is what it is. We can overcomplicate it, we can put extra pressures on it. You know, you're fighting at home in front of your Liverpool crowd, or maybe your last time in Liverpool. Extra pressures that I just don't need. You know, you're fighting for another world champion in Manchester on a Ricky at an undercard. Like, they're just extra external noise that obviously it makes a big difference to everybody else, but to me, when it gets in the ring, a ring's a ring.
One thing that I found interesting was you said that you feel you're going to be the best name on Lauren Price's record, that she won't be the best name on yours. How far down that list do you place her in terms of the boxers you fought?
I think Michaela Mayer is definitely a better fighter. I think Katie Taylor is ultimately pound for pound best female fighter there is, so I think she's above her. And yeah, she probably ranks about there.
We heard how you mentioned Michaela there. We heard how she's one of the fighters that had reportedly turned down a fight with Lauren. What made you...
Reportedly. Yeah, that's a big word. I'm pretty sure we are going to have a response from Michaela Mayer from that comment, and the truth will set everybody free, and we'll find out. But I don't believe the fighter that Michaela Mayer is, and the person that I know she is, would turn down a fight, not at the time when she was looking for one.
And do you think that there isn't much truth then to this idea that Lauren Price is an avoided fighter? It's something that a lot of people have said about her. Joe, I think, put it brilliantly when he said that she's viewed as this Ivan Drago figure by some, or B.A. Baracus, Mr. Tito. Do you think she is an avoided fighter, or do you not really see it? Do you think that's hype?
No, I definitely think that's hype. I mean, there's people like Sandy Ryan, I think, that have beaten her in the amateurs. And don't quote me on that, because I'm not the best person to always be quoted, but I'm pretty sure that Sandy Ryan has beaten her. So I would think, you know, especially, you know, well, debating on what happens with her fight, Ryan's fight with Mayer, that potentially they're fights that definitely she would look into, and I don't think either of them fighters would turn down a fight with Lauren.
And this idea of too young, too quick, too good, it's been a mantra for Lauren all the way through the build-up. Ever since Liverpool, she's been saying this. How do you respond?
I'm too clever, I'm too accurate, and I punch too hard.
And I think Joe seems convinced that a good veteran will always be a good up-and-comer. He was citing fights like Carl Thompson against David Hay as an example of that, Carl Froch and George Groves. How do you think your experience of being at the top level for so long will play into this fight?
I just think there's lots of experiences as a pro that she's never been in. I understand coming from the amateur circuit that you can get any different style of fighter, but when you've had it all your own way as a pro up to this point, and then you get in and you lose the first round, well, how do you react? What happens when you lose the second? What happens when you lose the third? What happens when it gets to the eighth and you might have a cut? What happens? You know, these are questions that haven't been answered by her.
And you mentioned before about the pressure of things like fighting in Liverpool, where obviously you are a complete hero in that city. Is it a little bit easier to fight in London, where you don't have the eyes of the entire city on you as their sort of great hope, if you like?
No, I know the city's with me regardless, and I know there's like, I think 300 Scousers coming off on trains and planes and buses and coaches to come and support me. So I know I've always got the backing of the city. But yeah, it's nice. It's a nice venue. It's probably the best aesthetically looking venue that I've boxed in. But you know, there's no place like home, and Manchester has been good to me when it comes to world title shots and defences.
And obviously, how good does it feel? You're wearing the Muhammad Ali jacket now. Everyone's been saying it that I've spoken to. I think that it's a revered venue because Muhammad Ali fought there. How good does it feel to walk in the footsteps of the greatest?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be able to go to the archives in the Royal Albert Hall and see things of like the craze of when they boxed there, to see Nas, to see Frank Bruno, to see Johnny Nelson, and Muhammad Ali, and to think that, you know, in 5, 15, 25, 50 years that someone may be able to go there and see our card is amazing.
Is it about legacy at this point? I think it's no secret that this wasn't your first choice of fight, that Michaela we've spoken about, you were looking at Katie as well. Is your career from now on about building on that Natasha Jonas legacy?
I think the legacy's already done, but it's definitely points to prove for me.
Is it a personal thing with Katie? Is it that, you know, you feel that on the night maybe you could have nicked that one and it's going back and righting a wrong against her?
100%, yeah. That's how I feel. You know, it was very close. I probably give her a little bit too much respect in the earlier rounds, and I believe I can do better, and I believe I'm a better fighter now than I was then.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, there's been world title wins since. You've gone right to the very top. And is this the best Natasha Jonas? There's been a lot of talk of people bring up your age, people bring up the thought that you know, of retirement. But do you think, with the experience you've gained, with the world title wins, those hard fights, is this the best version of you that we've seen?
Yeah, I think if you look at me fights, you know, every fight shows something different, and I've gone to the gym and worked hard on showing something different. Every fighter brings something different to the table, so we have to adapt in little ways anyway. But yeah, I think every time I'm out there, there's something else that I show, and I think that's boxing. You're looking for a complete fighter. That's never going to happen, because you're always your own biggest critic. There's always more stuff to learn. There's almost more stuff to add. But there's something that I'm adding to each fight, and I think that's the key.
How special is it that this is an all-female card for the second time we've seen it in this country? And a lot of people are saying even better than the O2 card in terms of how competitive these fights are. How special is it to be leading the way for such a historic card?
It's great to be on the card. Last time I missed out, so it's great to be on the card. And yeah, there's some, you know, people at near the end of their careers like myself, that you've got people like Cindy and Chloe that are more at the start and, you know, breaking out and in the earlier stages. So it's got everything that you've asked for: 50-50 fights, competitive, and women's boxing. It goes to show how far we have come. We can sell. We're slowly knocking down all them barriers. We can sell. We are entertaining. People want to watch, and yeah, it's just great that we've got these opportunities to do that. As I believe visibility and young girls and from the grassroots up, seeing that is key.
And just finally, how does it go down between you and Lauren this weekend? What's your prediction?
I prove myself right and I win.
Natasha Jonas, thank you for speaking with us.
Unlike Betfred have got me.
Thanks so much, Natasha. Always a